The Van Allen radiation belts surrounding the Earth are tens of thousands of degrees Celsius, and yet astronauts can pass through them fairly safely. This apparent paradox is a justification for many negative IQ moon landing deniers. After all, how did the astronauts get through without vaporizing? The answer, as it turns out, is pretty simple. The belts have a total mass of less than a tennis ball, spread out over a region as large as a cube 10,000 miles on each side. Let me explain. So the exact mass of the Van Allen belts is a bit hard to compute, but we can put an upper bound in place by looking at the data for the flux of protons, about 10 million protons per square meter, and dividing that flux by their minimum velocity, about 5% the speed of light. This will give an upper bound on the proton density, which can then be multiplied by the volume of the radiation belt to compute a total mass. The end result of this whole endeavor is that you get a mass of about 51 grams, which is likely a huge overestimate. And as mentioned earlier, this mass is spread out over an enormous volume, so for the same reason that you won't burn yourself sticking your hand in an oven at 400 degrees because the air just doesn't store much heat, you won't burn up in the Van Allen belts either. But we can actually do better. Because the flux is known, we can actually approximate how much energy is transferred to a human-sized object in a given amount of time. The average energy of a proton at the given flux is around 5 MeV, and the area of a human body is about 1.9 square meters. Multiplying the flux by the surface area and the energy per proton, we get about 0.15 joules of energy is transferred per second. However, a person also radiates heat in the form of infrared radiation just by existing, to the tune of about 100 joules per second. So you lose energy about 600 times faster than you would gain it in the Van Allen belts, which means that if you could survive the radiation poisoning and you were shielded from the sun, you'd actually freeze before you burned in the Van Allen belts.